Hi, everybody. Susan Batchelder here with the Top Racers. In this hangout tonight, usually I have a few other people on the panel, but tonight it's just me. I have a really important message to share with you, and if you're not already in the Top Racers, if you came upon this hangout on our page, thetopracers.biz, there's a link below that you can get involved with the Top Racers, or just reach out to me and I can help you. If I was the one inviting you, if someone else invited you, get back to them and they will show you how to get started with our community. Now, if you are in this, watching this video live or recorded, the content that I'm about to share with you today doesn't just have to do with the Top Racers or Race Cycler. You can use it in any part of your business, actually any part of your life. So keep watching and I won't keep you for a long time. So I'm gonna actually just get started. Now, part of it, you're gonna have to hear part of my own story, and that is to impress upon you why what I have to say is from my own knowledge base, influence from authors that I've read, and other people's stories, some of my patients in the past when I was still nursing, friends, leaders. Especially lately, I've had a lot of conversations on this topic with other leaders, so bear with me. I am actually just going to pull up my paper notes so that I don't miss any real details, and then I'll get into the story part of it. The main concept and the main point that I want to press upon you, and lots of this stuff we all already kind of innately know or have learned or thought about, but we get going through daily life, minute to minute, hour to hour, issue to issue, and we forget how to put focus on it. And we have to step back and almost take a 10,000 foot view to really think about how we're thinking about things and the direction we're taking at things and what we're making a priority for our energy. When everyone is passionate enough about something, anything, about getting where you want to go, about accomplishing something, about achieving something, about anything, you figure out the what and the how. So when you really want something, you just make it happen, right? Whether it's planning a party, whether it's your tire on your car is flat. You can't achieve anything else until you fix that tire. So that gives you a why to get that tire fixed. Otherwise, you might just leave it. So literally, this affects every part of our life. So if you really just contemplate that, I'm just going to say that again. When you are passionate enough about anything, about getting where you want to go, getting what you want, you figure out the what and the how. So what is If you can hear me now, looks like I was having internet trouble and it completely blocked out. So, oh, okay, I just got a text saying that you could hear me. So hopefully I wasn't talking too much when it cut off. Okay, so I'm going to go back to that point. What does passionate enough mean? What really is that? And I'm going to put a word in there and see if that makes sense to you. That's your why. That's your why for the smaller things and the greater things. So instead of putting the what or the how first, so that's kind of more like the facts and the steps. If you put your why first, the other pieces will just fall into place, or you'll make it happen, or you will see if you want to do it, if your why is powerful enough, the what and the how will come to you. Either you figure out how to learn them, or all of a sudden you realize them. And so that's kind of the cool thing. I'm going to take a step back a little bit and just quickly, just in a couple minutes, talk about the details of our community, or what it's all about. So to join our community, it's a one-time purchase. There's no lotions, no potions. It's there's two 2x2 matrices that you work your way through, and that's how you get your referral rewards, which turn into cash one-to-one. Really the simplest thing that I've ever done. When I came online 2.5 years ago, I knew nothing about selling stuff or marketing or anything, and that still is really not my focus. I can sell things every day, but it's because I put the people first. It's because my why is all about the people. So that's, you don't have to worry too much about the matrix, just knowing that how it works and how it creates flow, and that's by movement of people. Every time one person joins this business, this particular business that I'm talking about, somebody in the company gets paid. That's how direct it is, and how interactive, and the incredible momentum that can be created. It's an instant payment. So to make your purchase, which is one time, instantly you can make it once your account is all set up and everything. And to get the money back, it's instant. You just request a payout and it comes directly into your account. So that's pretty cool too. That's not common. Sometimes you're waiting for weeks or months on end. I already pointed out that point. Every time someone joins or purchases, someone in the company gets paid. That's pretty cool. Keep it simple. You can share the facts, but most of all, build relationships and invite people into the community. If you're in our community, you just have to reach out to us. When you invite somebody in, you reach out to us, and we'll either do this platform right here on the Google Hangout, or send them to one that was already recorded, that maybe one that resonated with you. Or if you're someone who would rather have the conversation on the phone or read the information, essentially we have all mediums accessible to you. We have conference call lines. We can jump on a call with you and your prospect. However you want communication, just tell us what you need. So essentially all you need to do to bring people to the community, if you're excited about it, you invite them, and you'll figure out how to invite them if you want to bad enough, and if you're excited about it. So that's kind of the key thing, that that is my personal opinion. And then I've spent a week and a half checking with many other leaders. What would you say? What is your core message? And I really dug around with this, and essentially that's how they lead their teams. That's how they teach their teams. The invite is the responsibility of the person, and you can figure it out. That is not the hard part. The hard part is wanting it bad enough and staying excited and staying consistent with daily action. All those things are a little bit harder. We can help you with that too. People want to belong. That's why we created this community. People want to belong somewhere. And so we never want you to feel like you're building it alone. Last week and on Monday, Kent Brown, our master representative, the fella behind the kind of the idea, it's great. He just has a great way of putting the message across, and he has got the experience to back it up. And he talked about creating an atmosphere, the atmosphere with arrogant confidence, create an atmosphere that people want to belong to. So however you do that, do it some way that's natural to you personally, and then within the community, that atmosphere that people want to become a part of is what will make them come, not necessarily the compensation plan or the product. The first thing that's going to make people want to come is going to be belonging somewhere and kind of an atmosphere. Get to know people, listen to their story, and that is how you will find out their why, which is their drive and their fuel to be consistent and their fuel to make things work. You can call it their hotspot. Whichever kind of term you want to think of, it's still the same thing. It's that core, the emotional center that makes people do what they do and want to do it better every day. So basically, once you invite people in, once you bring somebody in, you teach them how to get their 2 people. So your personal responsibility is to get 2 people in. That's what you need to be fully qualified to get the full referral rewards of $2,200. And then you help them get their 2 and make sure that they're helping their 2 get their 2. And you build on like that. And then you go and bring somebody else in to add to that and help them get their 2 and expand it. So add to your own and help your people add to their own. And so some people refer to it as building deep and building wide. You can alternate that or just see how it all fills out. We can teach you some of the strategies, looking at different boards and seeing where it would be best to place a person. But don't worry about any of that in the beginning. Essentially, it's just about inviting people into the community and creating a community that people want to be involved in. Communicate. 3 magic R's that I want to talk about, and I'm going to get back into the topic. If you keep these prevalent in your mind when whether you're in social media and you're making a post or you're writing a note or you're sharing a message with somebody, if you think about these 3 magic R's, it'll help you keep on point. It'll help you share your message. And this is reach, resonance, and relevance. So reach. How are you going to reach the people you want to reach? Who do you want to reach? And what do you want to reach them about? So reaching people. Resonance. How are you going to make your message resonate or get them excited, impact them? So resonance. And what message will resonate with them? So know who you're talking to and know maybe what that trigger point might be or the message that might get them excited or resonate with them. Then relevance. Make your conversation and your stories and the information you're sharing make sense. Make it relevant with the topic, with you, and with the people that you're talking to. So if you keep those in mind and do it with passion, it'll work. It'll work. Just share value. Follow directions. Excuse me. That one is just basic. If you have, as far as the system, there's just very few steps to get registered. You click on the first join button, you get registered, follow directions in there. So that's what I mean by just simple directions. The next page that they get taken to will be the payment, and then they get on the board and just refer back to your sponsor for all those details. And just keep it really, really simple. Make some goals, maybe some daily goals, some weekly goals. Now I'm going to get back to the topic because that's enough about that. First, I'm going to take a glass of water. double check the page. That's exciting. More of you joined the hangout today than I anticipated. That's exciting. Excuse me. Don't see any comments. I'm just going to double check this. Okay, sorry about that. So back to the topic. What inspires action? And then that first line that I said, when you are passionate enough about getting where you want to go or getting what you want, you figure out the what and the how. Why is this such a passion topic to me? Well, I'm going to go back to my childhood and I'll tell you from there. And sometimes I really do have to apologize because sometimes I maybe don't have as much patience with people when they're really not tapping into it as I should, because I was born with a gift. And let me tell you about that gift. Listen to the whole story before you understand, because it doesn't make sense at first. I was born with a gift of being quite challenged, significantly challenged, so I'm told, to breathe. I was literally born gasping for breath, and I'm really not that old. In fact, I just had a birthday yesterday. I'm only 45, but 45 years ago, there was not a huge understanding of asthma, especially infantile asthma. When infants are born with asthma, it can be quite severe, and they didn't have a lot of the things that they have now to work with it. And I was also born in a small town, so there was no neonatal ICU. There was nothing like that. So I don't, if I remember correctly, it was about 2 or 3 days. My mom kept on being quite concerned, and they kept on saying, "Oh no, it's just the infant mucus that they're born with." And she said she's got like the mucus and she's gasping. And the one night, I guess she caught me in dire straits and I was kind of bluish. So she got excited enough to get their attention. Fast forward a little bit, I spent almost all of my time for the first 2 years in hospital because of this asthma and my difficulty breathing, and them kind of ruling out all the things that were triggering it so that my mom could avoid me being in environments that were triggering my difficulty breathing and the asthma attacks. So I spent most of that time, and then until I was 4, it was a little bit less, but still a lot of time in the hospital. And they had the tents that they put on the crib with the humidity, and then they could put the medication into there and help you breathe. So on in through my childhood, I grew up just being incredibly thankful for the days and the moments and the times where I could breathe easy, because then I could run and play. I'm kind of living that a little bit again in a different way, but when you're almost like locked in a bubble that you can't do stuff, and then that bubble opens and you can, there's an innate core gratitude that you are so thankful that you can breathe, or that you can move, or that you can do this whatever outside of that bubble, that you're just in a different space and you don't realize it. Especially I didn't as a child. I didn't realize that what I was feeling was simple gratitude and joy. That is hard to teach without a lot of explanation and storytelling in some ways. So that's why I thought I would go back to that. It actually took me a bit in adulthood to figure out why I had that and what it was, and just piece it together so it would help me tell people. When I learned how to tell that and kind of really tap into that, that helped me huge in my critical care nursing career. So when I would have a patient that was really struggling, just really struggling, there was two different ones that were kind of the more common scenarios. And they were either one of my patients that would have had some sort of major incident with their heart, whether it was heart failure, heart disease of some sort, or a massive heart attack. It's like a major blow to their life. They were going along, everything was fine, and all of a sudden their life has to change, and they are having trouble breathing, and they just feel awful. And the other patient that was really, really common was all of a sudden people that had a spinal injury that was quadriplegic, or even from the waist down. All of a sudden they're faced with not being able to use their body. And when it initially happens, there's a lot of complications that they have to work through before they even get to face that. I can't move my physical body in my life, like out in the real world. That initial time when they're in that hospital bed, there's a lot of challenges that they have to face. The ones where the injury is quite high, one of the big challenges is breathing and figuring out how to breathe. For them to be able to get past that and accept that and even put their own effort into it, they need to go inside, and they need to go inside. So their heart and soul has to be tapped into, and their head. So it doesn't matter how much us as the medical community would do. We could save their life, we could get their heart beating again, we could force them to breathe. But they had to want to. And in both of those situations, lots of times, it's such a travesty, it's such a challenge that people want to give up. So it was at that point that I had to figure out how to push them and challenge them and wake them up. And their family was always a really big part of it, because a lot of times our why and our passion is very directly or evil that we love the most, right? For example, my deepest why is my two kids. They're teenagers. And if I'm having a day where I don't feel as empowered or as passionate about what I'm doing, all I have to do is look in their eyes. And it comes back pretty quickly. So again, I tell you that story because it's something that I've been passionate about essentially all my life, about pushing people into finding their why and really digging into it. And it is the root fuel, the root cause for many people's success. Because if you want it bad enough, you do not give up. You do, as Will Smith says, you do not get off that treadmill. He said if he was in a competition with you on a treadmill, you were getting off first, because he was not getting off that treadmill until he got where he was going. And he was going to die trying. That's how bad he wanted everything that he decided he wanted and went after. That's how bad he went after it. And so that has to do with everything that we do. It's all about how bad you want something and what you are willing to do. There's a really great book that Simon Sinek wrote. And when he does all his presentations, let me see if you can see this. He draws 3 circles, and he talks about the why in the center circle, and then the how, and then the what. And he said most people and companies come from the outside. They talk about the product, the what, and then the how to get the product or how the product works. And then they talk about why the customer or partner would want it. Inversely, it's way more powerful if we tap into the why first, and then the how, and then the what. If we don't, on the way in, we've already lost our attention by the time we get to the why. What happens when we talk about the why? Our why center is our emotional center of the brain, and it actually controls behavior. That's where decisions actually come from. So he also talks about people, when there's too many facts, people get distracted from their decision. So then you have to pull their attention back into making that decision. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. I'm sure you've all heard it. And that's where that comes from. That's where that resonates from. So the why is incredibly important. It's all about how bad you want it. And it's all about how bad your prospects want it, how bad your customers want it. You want to find out. You want to find out what it is in their life that makes them want to either change it by making some money, change it by being a part of a community, change it by being somewhere that has resources to learn. Whatever their why is, that's what we need to engage and tap into. That's really my message today. It's if you make that your key focus, that's when the growth is going to happen. That's when you will be able to move mountains. Every afternoon, right around 1 o'clock my time, is when I have random appointments here and there and everywhere whenever it works for me or my client or my interviews, whoever I'm speaking with. So I fit appointments around whatever the schedule is. But every afternoon I schedule something specifically at 1 o'clock. And it's always interesting. It seems to me that is one of my kind of, I don't know, those appointments seem to be it turn out unexpectedly to be incredible or different, or I'm lost for words or what there. But anyway, I'm just going to get to the point. This afternoon, now I don't have permission to tell any details about this story, but 1 hour, that appointment this afternoon, that hour was just amazing. I was not previously connected with this person. It took us almost a week to figure out a time and get on the phone. But it was very much meant to be. What this lady has accomplished because of her why, because she tapped into her passion, she tapped into her why, and how she's helping others is just incredible. And that I would have that conversation on the same day that I had already pre-planned this topic is also incredibly inspiring. So I hope that this rambling has inspired you to either get real clear with your why and your passion, and or always have that in mind to finding out what the why or the passion is of all the people that you're talking to. Everybody that you're talking to is potentially someone that you may work with today, tomorrow, next week, next month, or next year. Whether they join you in something or you join them, every relationship matters. So don't think about it as a hustle. Think about all of your business as relationship building, and it will flow. Find out people's why and always be tapped into yours. That's my rant for today. I really mean it. So thank you so much for listening. I'm not going to keep you any longer because I respect your time. I know your time is valuable. And sometimes these hangouts, when there's more of us on the panel, the discussion does go back and forth and it gets closer to an hour. So again, I appreciate you and look forward to hearing from you. I'll see you in the next video. And don't forget to, whoever sent you to this video, get back to them, either if you have questions or if you want to talk about it, reach out to them. And if it was me, I'll look forward to hearing from you. See ya. Susan Batchelder here.